तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदादतं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः। श्री श्री रामकृष्ण कथामृत श्रीमकथित, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, recorded by M. Mahendranath Gupta, a disciple and apostle of the Master. Sri Ramakrishna Bhakta Sange Shyam The previous one is Balaram Mandire. See, Balaram Mandire Bhakta Sange. We'll finish this and go to Shyampukur. ঠাকুর বলিলেন, ভজনানন্দ ব্রহ্মানন্দ, এই আনন্দেই সুরা, প্রেমের সুরা। মানব জীবনের উদ্দেশ্য ঈশ্বরে প্রেম, ঈশ্বরকে ভালোবাসা। ভক্তি সার, জ্ঞান বিচার করে ঈশ্বরকে জানা বড়ই কঠিন। This is a repeated burden of Sri Ramakrishna's song. Every time in the Gospel you will find it so many times repeated. When he says, the whole essence of human existence is love of God. Thomas A. Kempis, in that famous book, Imitation of Christ, says, vanity of vanities, all is vanity, except to love God and Him only to serve. The whole thing is vanity. Our position, our education, our wealth, our work, the whole thing is just vanity if you do not put God in front. That's why Sri Ramakrishna said, if you have zeros and zeros and zeros, they add up to zero. If you have one before it, then it becomes invaluable. All the zeros in the world add up to zero, but with one before it, it becomes extraordinarily valuable. Because that one gives value to all the zeros. Everything which happens in this world is just nothing, zero, unless you put God before it. Shankaracharya, the great Bhashyakara, commentator, in Kathopanishad Bhashya, he comments in one place. Tadatmana vinirmuktam asat sampadyate. The Atman is taken out, vinirmukta, asat sampadyate, everything becomes asat. The only sadvastu, the only existence, the only reality, only permanent, unchanging, eternal essence of this entire human existence is the Supreme Being. Call Him God, call Him Allah, call Him Durga, Kali, Krishna, Rama, Christ. So this is the ultimate aim of human existence, to be able to realize that supreme reality in this life and to realize in the path of bhakti that we're the eternal children of God, as Swami Vivekananda once defined religion beautifully. Religion is the eternal relationship with the eternal soul and the eternal God. You are eternally connected to Him. In this birth, we are connected to so many people. I say my parents, my father, my mother, my child, my wife and my children, my country, my book. These are temporary relationships which you developed in this birth because you have a human body in which there is a mind and a series of relationships you have. The moment you are born, you are automatically and spontaneously related to your parents. My father, my mother. And naturally you are connected to your parents' fathers and mothers. Your father's father and father's mother. Your mother's mother and mother's father. You call them grandmothers and grandfathers. And you are immediately connected to your father's brothers and sisters, uncles and aunts, your mother's brothers and sisters. The whole series of relationships develop. Then when you go to school, you are related to your teacher, related to your friends. And when you marry, you immediately get into relationship with your wife, and an exact carbon copy of your relationships again starts. You have a father, you are now a father-in-law. You have a mother and then you have a mother-in-law. Put in-law, the entire series of relationships goes. So you have 1 million relationships in the whole world. All this is focused upon my body and my mind. There is a different kind of relationship which is eternally existing, does not end with your body in this life, life after life. Dashatava janame janame dayanidhe. Swami Vivekananda sings a beautiful song, Gai Geet Shunate Tomai, a song that I sing to thee. There he says, I am your eternal servant, I am your eternal son, a child of yours, janame janame, life after life. This relationship with the eternal spirit will never cease. So, religion is defined by Swami Vivekananda as the eternal relationship with the eternal God and the eternal soul. Sri Ramakrishna repeats it again and again. Bhakti sar, ashol kothata holo taake bhalabasha. If you are drawn to him through divine love, divine attraction, because you are a part of him, if you think it that way, or you are him in essence, if you think of it in a Advaitic way, or you are eternally dependent on him, though separate, if you want a Dvaitic position, whatever be the position you take, you are eternally related to the Supreme Being. This relationship will never go. There can't be any break in this relationship in time and in space, because it is a timeless relationship. Deshatita, kalatita, karanatita. It is beyond space and time and causation. Sri Ramakrishna emphasizes again and again in the gospel, मानव जीवन उद्देश्य ईश्वर प्रेम, ईश्वर के भालबाशा. The aim and end of human life is to love God and be constantly devoted to him. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. The Gita. Every scripture in the world talks about it. Manmana bhava, keep your mind on me always. Madhyaji, worship me. Mam namaskuru, bow down to me. Madbhakta, be devoted to me. Mayyeva mana adhatsva mayi buddhim niveshaya. All your mind should be focused in me, your buddhi, your intellect should be engrossed in me. That means you have your being and movement in God saturated by God consciousness. This is the whole burden of Sri Ramakrishna's song in this great book called the Kathamrita, and Sri Krishna's celestial song which is called the Bhagavad Gita. Ramakrishna Kathamrita is the song of God, the word of God, just like Jesus' words are the Bible. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. the initial first statement of the Gospel according to St. John. This word is the Onkara Dhvani, which is the essence of Brahman. So be drawn to him. If you are drawn to him like a small piece of iron to a huge magnet, then wherever you are, whatever you do, whatever be the circumstances, time or place, your mind is constantly pulled towards him. This pull, which Ramakrishna called Tan, is the essence of bhakti. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, Vishwair Pratitan, Shvatir Patir Pratitan, Mayer Shantaner Pratitan, ए 3 টান এক হলে তবে ঈশ্বর লাভ করা যায়। The pull, the attraction which a worldly person feels towards worldly prosperity and wealth, the pull and the attraction that a chaste wife feels for the husband, and the attraction and the pull which the mother feels for the child, if these 3 attractions are combined into one, then you have the realization of God. These examples are given from the worldly life because it's easier for us to understand how much the gopis were attracted to Sri Krishna. He will mention this. So you become mad with God's love. You can't live for a moment without God. Swami Ramakrishnananda, Shashi Maharaj, the famous disciple of Ramakrishna who was apostle in the south, he said, if you take a fish out of water, put it in a huge throne, and anoint him as the king of this huge kingdom, give him all the honor in the world, and feed it well, can the fish stay on the throne? It will only say, I don't want any of these, please do put me into water. That's its abode. In exactly the same way, if you can see, I can't live for a moment without God, because He is my essence, He is my beloved, I can't be separate from Him even for a moment. Nayanam galadashrudharaya vadanam gadgadaruddhaya gira pulakair nichitam vapuh kada tava nama grahane bhavishyati. The moment I take your name, O Lord, because out of tremendous love for you, tears flow down my cheeks, and there horripilation in the whole body, hair stand on end, and my throat gets choked. I become speechless. When will that blessed day come when these symptoms will occur in my body and my whole mind will be absorbed in God? Yugayitam nimeshena chakshusha pravrishayitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me. O Govinda, O my beloved Lord, a moment's separation from you appears to be several ages and aeons. And a moment's separation from you, I become so restless. I pant for a breath, as it were, tears trickle down my cheeks. And the entire world of relative existence appears to be complete void. Shunyayitam jagat sarvam. These are the feelings expressed by great saints and sages and avatars. This shloka is from Sikshashtakam, 8 verses of instruction by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whom Sri Ramakrishna considered as an avatar, God of love, Premer avatar. So he says here, Anandeshwara, Premershwara, তোমার প্রেমের সুরা পানে করো মাতোয়ারা উমা ভক্ত চিত্ত হরা ডুবাও প্রেম সাগরে দেমা পাগল করে ব্রহ্মময়ী দেমা পাগল করে ব্রহ্মময়ী আর কাজ নাই মা জ্ঞান বিচারে দেমা পাগল করে. Sri Ramakrishna was very fond of this song. Dema pagal kore, mother made me mad with thy divine love. What need I have for discussion, debate, and analysis? Make me mad with thy love. Drunk with the wine of your love, I want to become mad, intoxicated. তোমার প্রেমের সুরা পানে করো মাতওয়ারা ভক্ত চিত্তহরা. You attract the devotees. So it's called Hari or Hara. Hari is the name of Vishnu, Hara is the name of Shiva. Hara means Haran Kora. He simply draws, he takes away, he robs you of your own self, disrobes you of all your accretions. That is the meaning of the Vastrapaharana of the Gopikas. These great allegories have been misinterpreted, misunderstood by worldly people like us. Sri Krishna's Vastrapaharana means he apaharana, he takes away all your abhimana, all your egoism, all your littleness, all your sense of shame, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, your lust, greed, anger, delusion, pride, and jealousy. These are called Shad Ripus, 6 deadly enemies. So he kills all of them, disrobes you as it were of all the accretions, and you stand pure like a child before God, completely divested of all that you have accumulated. Can you long for it? That's what Ramakrishna is asking. Can you die this moment to all that you have accumulated? We're constantly accumulating inwardly and outwardly. Can you die to all this? Can you just burn away all this and come to God? Then only you can come. If you are clinging on to this world, you can never come to God. How do you come to Him? Through bhakti, to tremendous attraction to God. You can't but come to Him because you feel that you are dying without God. Pandit Shashadhar, the great scholar, came to Sri Ramakrishna and asked him, what kind of longing takes a man to God? Vyakulata is the word which is used. Sri Ramakrishna always used to insist on Vyakulata. Vyakulata means longing, intense yearning for God. Then he is asking what kind of Vyakulata, what kind of longing is necessary. Sri Ramakrishna immediately, the master storyteller, tells him a story. A guru was going for bath in the Ganges with his disciples. So when the disciples were bathing, the guru put his hand on one of the disciples and pushed him under water. Will not leave. Then the disciple was crying, oh sir, what are you doing to me? Oh Gurudev, please release me. I can't bear it anymore. I want a breath of air. After a long time, let it go. He came to the surface and said, how did you feel, my child? Sir, feel? I was just dying for a breath of air. I was panting literally. I could not have survived a moment longer. If you can have this kind of vyakulata, longing, yearning for God, then you will come to God. Extraordinary saying. It is not easy, but just think, what kind of attraction can you have for things perishable? Anything which perishes, anything which is impermanent. During this corona pandemic, how many people lost their near and dear ones, how much of cry, how much of sorrow, how much of agony. Ultimately, we also have to leave this world one day. Maybe it's fast approaching, we do not know when. Depend on your karma. Young people also die, old people also die. Swami Vivekananda says in the Maya lectures in London, kings die and beggars die, the rich die and the poor die, learned people, the pandits die, and the uneducated fools also die. Death is everywhere. What does it mean? Ephemerality, transience, impermanence. In this impermanent world, there is only one permanent entity which is called the Atman or Brahman or God. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidathati Kaman Tamatmastam Yeno Pashyanti Dhiraha Tesham Shanti Shashwati Netaresham Tesham Sukham Shashvatam Netaresham Kathopanishad. In all the anitya vastu, ephemeral objects, transient, impermanent objects, there is one nitya vastu, eternal, permanent, unchanging essence of everything. That is the Atma vastu, which is identical with Brahman and God. If you can realize this Atman as your own self, Antah Sharire Jyotirmayo Hi Shubhro, deep within, beyond all the Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, Atmans, Koshas, beyond that the Atman is shining as the eternal substance. If one can realize this within, then alone he gets eternal peace, eternal happiness. This is called Brahmananda. Initially you have Bhajanananda, because thinking of God, singing of God gives you so much of joy. Bhajanananda, Brahmananda. Ye Ananda Ishvara, Preme Ishvara. Manav Jivan Uddeshya Ishvare Prem, Ishwar ke Bhalabasha. The aim and essence of human existence, human life, is to love God and be connected to Him through an eternal thread of prema, divine love. Bhakti Ishar, the essence of spiritual effort, endeavor, sadhana, is bhakti. What is bhakti? Feeling tremendous attraction for God, the divine supreme being, connected to Him through such powerful love which is pure and selfless, so that your existence you feel is useless without Him. ज्ञान विचार करे ईश्वर के जाना बड़ी कठिन, आर काज नाय मा ज्ञान विचारे दे मा पागल करे. Trilokanath Swarnal composed this song. Sri Ramakrishna was intensely happy, and he said, this song exactly reflects my attitude, he said. Through jnana vichara, not the vichara which is the viveka, but the vichara which is the analytical mind, goes on chopping things into pieces, trying to understand something which is ununderstandable. Through jnana vichara, through analysis, the analytical mind of a logician, you can never understand the Supreme Being. এই বলিয়া ঠাকুর গান গাহিতে লাগিলেন, কে জানে কালী কেমন সরু দর্শনে না পায় দর্শন. How many times Ramakrishna has sung this song in the Kathamrita, very famous song. Who can understand what is the real nature of Kali, the Supreme Being? Sadu darshane na pai darshan. Sadu darshan, the 6 systems of Indian philosophy called Sadu darshana. They are darshan is philosophy. He is punning on the word darshana. Although these are darshanas, they can't have darshana of the Supreme Being because it's only intellectual, philosophical, analytical mind which tries to seek the Supreme Being. Atma Ramer Atma Kali Praman Pranaver Maton. সে যে ঘটে ঘটে বিরাজ করবে করে ইচ্ছাময়ীর ইচ্ছা যেমন. আত্মা রামের আত্মা কালী প্রমাণ প্রণবের মতন. It's all very deep, philosophical, spiritual, mystical significance. Ram Prasad songs are so mystical, so with profound meaning appearing rather simplistic. Atma Ramer Atma, the innermost self, the Atman of Atma Arama. Atma Rama is a wonderful idea in Vedanta, in Hindu lore. What does it mean? A person who finds Arama in the Atman. Arama means rest, relaxation. Now everybody is stressed. Huge courses are being run, and motivational speakers who themselves may be stressed talk about how to reduce stress. A person wrote, how to reduce mental tension. Then another person very mischievously said, is this the question which the author is asking? How to reduce mental tension? Everybody is stressed. And by motivational talk and running courses, stress can't be reduced. The easiest way, Ramakrishna says, is bhakti, by which you surrender to God, ask for His help. When you are pushed to the wall, then you go to bhakti. All the atheists, so-called atheists which show off, when they are deeply stressed and ill with a terminal disease, they may go to all the temples in the world secretly, get prasada at their homes, although professing to be completely atheistic. Whatever. Atma Rama means you relax in yourself. Because all the relaxation and the joy that you need is in your own very self. It's just here within. This corona pandemic for 2 years, 2 full years, has shown us how you are forced to be Atma Rama. You can't go out. You can't mix with people. You can't touch anybody. You can't shake hands. You can't embrace. So you are forced to be with yourself, and everybody is unhappy. What a tragedy that I do not like my own company. That's what it means. I feel lonely, I feel depressed, I feel unhappy. So you have this Rakshasa, demon called the Android smartphone, and 20 hours of your waking state, you constantly keep looking at it. You send messages, you have WhatsApp, and you have Facebook, and blog, and Twitter, and all kinds of things, emails. You're constantly engaging yourself in activity only to escape from your own very self. You just can't bear your own company. If you're alone, you're afraid. You need some smartphone, you watch some movies online, and you watch the television, so that your constantly mind is being engaged in something outside in order that you need not face yourself. Face yourself. Close your eyes and sit and face yourself. Find out what you have done in life so far. What is the way out? what's going to happen in your life. Because the precious human life, as Ramakrishna repeatedly tells us, this precious human life, Durlabha Jivan Manushya Janma. What are we doing with it? Just close your eyes and find out. But we can't. We become restless. I can't bear this loneliness anymore. What does it mean? Loneliness means I'm in my own company and I just can't bear my own company. If I can't bear my own company, why should anybody bear with me? If I dislike my company, why should you like my company? That's why those who can't just be with themselves happily are not usually objects of attraction for people. You take the example of a child. A child is completely absorbed in itself. A child is playing on its own with some imaginary people perhaps, with some dolls taking them to be real. When you watch it from a distance, it says, hey, go, don't look at me. A child just doesn't want anybody's company because it is absorbed in its own self. It is ignorantly absorbed. So what Vedanta says, you be absorbed in your higher self through knowledge and wisdom. A person who is absorbed in his own self, the Atma Rama, always is an object of attraction for everybody. If I have deep attraction for my own higher self, Atma Rama, then the whole world will be attracted towards me because I have within me a huge picture of joy, happiness and love. People rush from outside to have a sip of the nectar, that Amrita Kalasha which I have within me. This is what Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi said. How much she suffered apparently from outward look. Outwardly, she suffered and suffered. But she says, Dukkha ki baba jantum na, সেই সময় দক্ষিণেশ্বরে হৃদয়ের মধ্যে আনন্দের পূর্ণ ঘট কলস যেন বিরাজমান. In Dakshineshwar in those days, my child, I did not know what was meant by sorrow. As if a picture of joy is constantly installed in my heart. Look at this statement. Just meditate in this statement and think of the face of this glorious divine mother who came as Sharada Devi. Just look at her face. Any photograph of hers you take. There's a beautiful picture of mother cutting vegetables in the kitchen. And the person who's photographed it is so blessed. He gave us such a wonderful photograph. She was not meditating. She was not in the worship room at the puja ghar, Thakur ghar. She was not in samadhi. She was just ordinary woman, apparently, cutting vegetables for cooking. Just look at the face. Compassion flowing down the eyes, and eyes inward and calm, so full of sattvic joy, not the rajasic joy or the tamasic joy. The Bhagavad Gita distinguishes between rajasic sukha, tamasic sukha from sattvika sukha. Sattvika sukha is a joy which comes from higher conceptions, higher perception, by elevated thoughts, called Bhajanananda. Beyond that is the Trigunatita Ananda, which is called Brahmananda. So he says, Atma Ramer Atma Kali Praman Pranaver Maton. A person is absorbed in his own self. Atma Krida Atmarati Kriyavan Esha Brahmavidam Varishtha. Mundakopanishad. Atma Krida sporting, playing in the self. Atma Rata, delighting in the self. Atma Priyananda, the beautiful name which I got from my Guru, which I don't deserve. It tells me, be Atma Priya. Enjoy your own company. The most beloved treasure is your own higher self, the Atman. Love it. Go inward. One who finds joy, Ananda, in the Priyatva, the dearness, the love of one's own higher self. It is not selfish love, it is the love of higher self. Atma Ramer Atma, Kali, Pramana Pranaveru Matan. Pranava is the Omkara. Omkara has two aspects, para and apara. Etadhevaksharam Brahma, etadhevaksharam param. The Kathopanishad says this akshara, which is Om, it represents the Parabrahman, the Paramatman, as well as it represents the relative Brahman, the Apara Brahman, which is called the Hiranyagarbha or Ishvara, Saguna Brahman. It is the Pratika, or it could be Vachaka. Pratika is a symbol, Vachaka is the word which expresses this. Tasya Vachaka Pranavaha. Vachaka and Vachya. Abhidhana and Abhidheya. That which is described by this word is the Brahman, and that which describes it is this word which is Om. So Pranaveru Matan, by the Om, like this Om, Kali Pramana Pranaveru Matan. So what is the proof of Kali? Like Pranava, there is no proof. It is a spontaneously arising sound which is called the Anahata Dhvani, eternally existing, because what is the proof of your own existence? Can anybody question his own existence? You ask for proof about everything. What is the proof that I exist? The proof I exist is I exist. I know that I exist. I have a deep understanding of my own existence. May not be at the high spiritual level, but just I know that I exist. Swata Pramana it is called. Swata Pramana, not requiring any external Pramana. Just spontaneously, naturally, this is the Pramana. Pranaveru Matan Kali Pramana. Sheje Ghote Ghote Viraj Kore. Where is this Kali? The name Kali is used here. That means the Supreme Being, call it by any name. Saguna Brahman, which is identical with the Nirguna Brahman. Ghote Ghote Viraje. It is there in every being, describing his own vibhutis, the glories. In the 10th chapter, Dashamodhyaya, Bhagavan Sri Krishna begins with this. I will tell you my vibhutis. Hantate katayishyami. O Arjuna, I will now tell you my glories, my vibhutis. The first glory he talks about, Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarva Bhutashaya Sthitaha. Sarva Bhuta Ashaya Sthitaha. Ashaya is inner being, the heart, the Antakarana. In the heart of all beings, in the Hridaya Desha, Hriddesha, Aham Atma, I remain as the Atman in all beings. The Atman in all beings is actually the Supreme Being, Brahman. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. 13th chapter, Trayodashodhyaya. The Bhagavan says, what you call kshetra is his body. Idam shariram kunteya kshetravitya bhidiyate. And the Kshetrajna, a person who knows this body, realizes this body, sees this body, is the Kshetrajna. Who is the Kshetrajna? Bhagavan says, I am the Kshetrajna in all the beings. I am the self of all. Aham Atma Godakesha Sarvabhuta Ashayasthitaha. Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hriddeshe Arjuna Tishtati. 18th chapter, Ashtadashodhyaya. O Arjuna, Ishvara lives in the hearts of all beings. Hriddeshe Tishtati. Ghote ghote viraj kore, Ichchamoyi Richa Jamon. Ichchamoyi means she is self-willed. Nobody can dictate to her what she should do, because she is beyond causality, beyond time and space. If you are bound by time, space and causality, then you are bound by rules and regulations, the do's and don'ts, vidhi and nishedha. But if you are beyond all this, you are not bound by anything. Ichchamoyi. In ordinary world, not in the spiritual world, two types of people are beyond. One is a mad person, pagal. The other is a child, because child doesn't know. If a child commits an offense, it's not an offense. If a madman does something, you know he is mad. He is not out of his mind. Nobody should take offense, but one should be careful. I will tell you an interesting story. It is not a story, it is an incident which happened. I was a witness to it. There is a convocation ceremony of a university in Calcutta, and Rashtrapati, a famous president, Abdul Kalam, had come. So the tightest security possible, Z++ security he had. So everybody has to keep the bag behind and mobile phones behind. All kinds of security was there. So going through all the security, we reached the place. The ceremony was just about to begin. The president came to the dais. As you know, all functions with the Rashtrapati and Rajyapal, the President of India and the Governor of a state, has to begin with the national anthem. So everybody stood up. The national anthem was played. At the end of it, everybody sat down. When the ceremony was just about to begin, suddenly a small child came in front. Maybe he is the little kid of one of the officers there. He just came because he was very, very much intrigued curious about Abdul Kalam's hairstyle. Those of you who have seen his photograph and have seen him personally know, it's somewhat very funny. It appeared to be funny, but there's a charm in his laughter, like a child-like behavior, and the innocent laughter which he had in his lips, and the hairstyle. And this child came just in front, ran in front of Abdul Kalam, looked at him, and just to make fun of him, said, and then ran away. What was the reaction of the audience, including all the security? Everybody laughed aloud, and Abdul Kalam also enjoyed it. If you and I had done that, immediately, instantly we would have been arrested for breach of security protocol. What is the difference? The difference is a child is beyond do's and don'ts, rules and regulations, vidhi and pratishedha, because he lives in a world which is beyond time, space and causation. He cannot bound by causality. A mad person and a child, these are beyond causality, and therefore Sri Ramakrishna makes an interesting statement in the Gospel. Imni ache kolite Bhagavan pratyakha bhave katha konna. In Kali Yuga, it is said, the lore, in Kali Yuga, God doesn't directly speak. কিন্তু এমনি আছে তিনি শিশুর মুখে পাগলের মুখে কথা বলেন। He speaks through the mouth of a child and of a mad person. Sometimes they talk such wisdom because they are so innocent. A child sometimes can embarrass you like anything because it is so simple. Sometimes parents, when we grow up, we become so corrupt, we lose our innocence, we become hypocritical. So somebody has come, the father tells the child, hey, this fellow come and will, I just can't bear his presence. You go and tell him the father is not at home. The child goes there direct. Uncle, the father is inside. He wanted me to tell you that he is not at home. You can't make a child become hypocritical because he is just innocent. Chandramani Devi, who was the blessed Garbhadarini Mata, the mother of Sri Ramakrishna, Avatara Janani, like Yashodhara, Kausalya. Somebody told him, see that fellow, what he says is not correct, he is a liar. Then she asks, so what is a lie? I don't understand. How do you explain to a simple lady what is meant by a lie? She said, so people told her, you know what's a lie? I'll tell you. Suppose something happens in your front. So you report it to somebody else in a distorted fashion, hide facts, and tell it differently. This is one example of lie. Then, he said, why should anybody do that? People had no answer. See, unless you become innocent and pure like a child, you can't come to God. This is what Christ said. Once in a crowd, there was a small child, he lifted the child up and showed the people around him, unless you can become innocent and simple and pure like this child, you can't come to God. Look at Ramakrishna. Panchavarsha bala bhava yukta hamsarupinam. The famous stotra composed by Swami Virajanandaji, Ramakrishna Dashakam. He says, Panchavarsha bala bhava. His bhava, his thought movement is like that of a 5-year-old child. But Yukta Hamsa Rupinam, he is a Paramahamsa full of wisdom. So how to retain the innocence of a child, combine it with the wisdom minus the ignorance, the wisdom of a sage, illumined person. That is the combination. So he says here, Atma Ramer Atma Kali, Ghote Ghote Viraj Kore, Ichhamoyi Ichha Jamon. Ichhamoyi. She is like a child, she can do anything she likes at any time. Why did Mahamaya, Mahamari bring this terrible calamity in the world? What is the purpose? We do not know. Ichhamoyi, she feels now people should become quiet. And people should be indoors and go inward, perhaps. We don't know. 100 reasons you can give. Our little stupid minds can give 2,000 reasons. But she knows why she is doing this. That's what Ramakrishna always used to say, Tini Ichhamoyi. Tomare ituku buddhi teke bujha jaye. She is Ichhamoyi, self-willed. And how can you understand her divine will? Kalir udare brahmanda bhanda prakandata bujho kamon. Kalir udare, in her womb, in her stomach, brahmanda bhanda prakanda. Prakanda, huge. The whole universe is concealed in her womb. She produces them, creates them. Ta bujho kamon, how can you understand this? Ram Prasad has his wonderful songs. अनंत ब्रह्मांड राखेन उदर पूरी शिकी एमनी मेयर में. Do you mean to say she is this lady? That means Kali. She is an ordinary woman. Ananta Brahmanda Rakhe Udara Puri. In her womb is Ananta Brahmanda. Infinite, countless universes she produces every moment. When Swami Vivekananda, then Narendranath, he was undergoing intensest austerities at Kashipur when Sri Ramakrishna was lying ill, and Sri Ramakrishna is making him do one sadhana after the other sadhana, culminating in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Once Naren came and reported, "Today I had a strange vision. I saw an inverted triangle, luminous." Sri Ramakrishna smiled and said, yes, I also have this vision. Name anything in the spiritual world, there is nothing which is unknown to Sri Ramakrishna. That the Samrat, he is a Chakravarti, he is the king of kings in the spiritual realm. That's why he had so much of power and so much of courage, so much of conviction. All the great scholars of his time, how he took upon them. Name, be it Vidyasagar, be it Pandit Shashadhar, be it Keshav Chandra Sen, be it Vijay Krishna Goswami, be it Sahitya Samrat Bankim Chandra, they were all stalwarts in those days. But he takes upon them with so much of courage. Initially, he seems to be meek and afraid. But when the Divine Mother begins to speak through him, then the power which he manifests and the flow of words, this is what we are studying now, this divine Kathamrita, this ambrosia, this nectar of the words of the Lord. Sri Ramakrishna says, yes, I also had that vision. A luminous inverted triangle. What is more, I saw that it is giving birth to countless universes continuously. This is called Brahmayoni Darshan Korecho. This Brahmayoni. Yoni here means the Utsa, the source of the entire universe. That's why women are so highly revered in all the traditions. Unfortunately, all the great truths in our scriptures have remained in books, untranslated in the ordinary world and unpracticed on the ground. That's why Swami Vivekananda said, there is no religion like Hinduism which glorifies the soul, which talks about the glory of the human soul, and there is no religion which tramples on the necks of the poor, the downtrodden, the underprivileged, as much as Hinduism does. We do not need any new religion, new books, new ideas. The whole thing is there in our old scriptures, but they have to be applied on the ground and made practical. So he propagated the idea of practical Vedanta. Vedanta should become practical, intensely practical, practicable by everybody in daily life, and made a living social force. The dry, abstract Advaita should become living and poetic in everyday life. That was Swamiji's dream and vision, which he largely succeeded in translating through the grand organization called the Ramakrishna Math and the Ramakrishna Mission. A group of people will actually practice this, not merely talk. 1 ounce of practice is more than 10,000 tons of big talk, Swamiji said. So these divine visions come to you. কালীর উদরে ব্রহ্মাণ্ড ভাণ্ড প্রকাণ্ডতা বুঝো কেমন, যেমন শিব বুঝেছেন কালীর মর্ম, অন্য কেব জানে তেমন. Only Mahadeva Shiva, the great God of gods, he perhaps understood this. Ramakrishna goes to the extent of saying the Satchidananda Sagara, ocean of Satchidananda, ocean of infinitude of God, immeasurable. How can you understand anything of God? How little is your understanding? As Newton said on another occasion, I seem to myself like a child playing on the seashore, picking up a pebble here and there, while the vast, infinite ocean of truth lies undiscovered before me. Newton was the greatest of the scientists. There is no area in which he did not work, in physics and so many places. But he says, just I'm picking up a pebble in the seashore. I have not even gone to the ocean. A similar idea, Ramakrishna says, in the spiritual world. The Satchidananda Sagara, the ocean of Brahman, ocean of Satchidananda is lying there. There is a lore in Puranic lore. The Shuka did not even touch the ocean. He only heard the roar of the ocean from a distance. Shuka was the greatest of Jnanis. He is called Brahmarshi. He says, there is one, according to one tradition, one lore, Shuka, from a distance, he heard the roar of the ocean, did not even touch the waters. And Devadidev Mahadeva just sipped 3 drops of water from the ocean and it became Shava. He fell down unconscious. Ke jane kali kemon, shada darshane na pai darshan. This is Ramakrishna's wonderful statement. Jamon Shiva bujechen kalir marumo, anno keva jane temon. How can anybody understand the secret of Kali's real nature, her infinite dimension, as Shiva has understood? And in even Shiva, whether he knows fully, we do not know. That's what some traditions say. Because the infinitude of God can never be circumscribed by the human mind. Sri Ramakrishna gives a beautiful example of a salt doll which went to measure the depth of the ocean. Look at the extraordinarily simple but telling examples, metaphors. Imagine a doll made of salt, and it takes a big stick, a meter stick, a scale. I will now measure the depth of this ocean. It walks like that, and the moment it enters the waters of the ocean, everything is gone. So it doesn't even get to understand the ocean by the time it is dissolved. Now the question, has the salt doll known the ocean, understood the ocean, or no? The answer to this question is yes and no. Yes. How? Because the salt doll has become the ocean, and therefore, of course, it knows it much more than anybody. No, because the salt doll has not known the ocean, understood the ocean, realized the ocean as an object. So there are 2 kinds of knowledge spoken of in Vedanta. One is knowing as an object. The other is knowing by becoming. You know something by becoming it. When you become it, you don't know it as a knower knowing the known, but the knower, known and knowledge, which is called Triputi in Vedanta, it simply vanishes. There is one indivisible knower, knowledge, known continuum. This Triputi completely vanishes, space and time vanish. Knowing as an object implies that I am the knower, Jnata. The object that I know is the Gyeya, known, and the process by which I know it is called Jnana, knowledge. Jnata, Jnana, Gyeya. Drashta, Darshana, Drishya. The seer, the act of seeing, and the seen. Shrota, Shravana, Shruta. The listener or the hearer, the process of hearing, and the heard. So everywhere in knowledge you have this Triputi. Vedanta found out long ago that every piece of knowledge that we gain in this world consists of this triad of Jnata, Jnana and Gyeya. Is it possible to have a kind of knowledge in which the triad vanishes? There is no Jnata and therefore there is no Gyeya or Jnana, which comes in self-knowledge. Suppose you say I am a Jnata, knower. How do you know that you are the knower? Do you know yourself? Suppose I know myself, suppose you say, make a statement. Who knows you? I know myself. Who is the I which knows apart from that which is known? Vijnata ramareke na vijaniyat. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. How can one know the knower? Knowing the knower is a contradiction because you can't know the knower as an object of knowledge, but you know the knower by being the knower yourself and realizing that you are the knower, and in this realization, the knower, known and knowledge, the Triputi, completely vanishes. This is the highest state of Advaita. So every word in the Gospel of Ramakrishna, when he sings songs from Ramprasad, Kamalakanta and so on, is pregnant with the highest philosophy which has been served to us on the plate so clearly, transparently, so sweetly, without any complications, simply so that we can digest it. Swami Vivekananda wrote in a letter, in the West he was preaching the 4 yogas. He was saying, I want to give them dry, hard reason, jnana, soaked in the sweetest syrup of love, bhakti, made spicy with work, karma, and cooked in the kitchen of yoga, so that even a baby can easily digest it. Even a child may easily grasp it. In another place he says, this is the work of the avatars. People commanded by God come with a mission. They want to make complicated things simple. The simplest way you put it, and the easiest way you can digest it. Pre-cooked food is Ramakrishna's offering us. You just don't have to do anything. Take this pre-cooked food. You don't even need to put it in hot water to cook. It's just cooked, served on your plate hot. You just have to eat it. But we lazy hypocrites will not even do that. You say, oh Ramakrishna, oh Thakur, please put it in my mouth, I can't eat it. He is willing to do that also, but you have to swallow. Even if you say, I will not swallow, he will give you tight slaps on your cheeks, as he is now doing it through the corona pandemic, and then make your throats open so that you can swallow it. Such a sweetness, such extraordinary transparency, such simplicity in the words of the Avatara. We are blessed that we have access to this through the grace of M. Master Mahashaya, the blessed soul who recorded the whole thing, so that we may make our lives divine and blessed and sublime. Om Niranjanam Nityamanantarupam Bhaktanukampadhrita Vigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamidyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namamaha. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.